All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're diving headfirst into a Reddit post that seriously got everyone talking.
Yeah, this one is
It's a doozy.
it's a doozy for sure.
Family drama accusations, mental health struggles, all tangled up in a big, messy knot.
Yeah, exactly. It's like one of those, those big balls of yarn where the cat's been playing with it.
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like, where's the beginning? Where's the end?
Right. Like, how do we even start to untangle this? So let's lay out the basics. We've got a 19-year-old stepdaughter who moved in with her dad and her stepmom, Linda, when she was just 12.
So she's been living in this dynamic for quite a while.
Yeah, for a formative, chunk of her life.
Yeah.
And dad's a busy businessman, often out of the picture, which leaves the stepdaughter and Linda to
Well, to their own devices, yeah.
put it mildly.
Yeah, to put it mildly, there's definitely some tension there.
And tension might be the understatement of the century.
Mm.
The stepdaughter describes Linda as being incredibly controlling, like restricting visits with friends, blaming her for causing stress in the house, even suggesting she's somehow responsible for Linda's mental health issues.
Which is a huge red flag.
Right. This isn't just like typical teenage rebellion stuff.
But it's definitely beyond that. I mean,
Right.
this level of control can be a form of manipulation,
Oh, absolutely.
It's about trying to get someone to behave in a certain way by making them feel guilty or responsible for things that are outside their control.
The stepdaughter talks about a lot of guilt trips and accusations coming from Linda,
Yeah.
which, puts her in a constant defensive position.
Exactly. And, in healthy families, communication and respect are key even when there are disagreements.
Right.
But this level of control without clear justification and, especially with a young person who's trying to find their own identity, it can be incredibly damaging.
One example that really stood out to me was when Linda suddenly forbid the stepdaughter from staying over at her best friend's house.
Oh, what was the reasoning behind that one?
She claimed there was potential harassment from male family members there. But when you read between the lines, it just feels like another way for Linda to isolate her and control her interactions.
Yeah, it definitely fits into that pattern of control that we're seeing.
And then, bam, Linda announces she's divorcing the dad.
Oh, wow.
And guess who she blames? The stepdaughter.
Oh, boy.
Claims she's the source of all Linda's unhappiness.
Yeah.
Even goes so far as to say that the stress is going to give her cancer.
Oh, my goodness. That is a serious accusation.
Right. Like, how do you even respond to that?
It's incredibly manipulative, and it's designed to make the stepdaughter feel guilty and responsible for something that is completely outside of her control.
I'm not surprised the comment section on this Reddit post exploded. People were calling Linda out left and right, narcissistic, manipulative, some even speculating about infidelity.
Yeah, it really struck a nerve with people.
It did. But of course, armchair diagnoses aren't really helpful.
No, definitely not. We only have one side of the story.
Right.
And it's impossible to, fully understand the complexities of anyone's mental health just based on a Reddit post.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even without labeling anyone, it's clear something's not right here.
Mm-hmm.
The stepdaughter mentions she's been seeing therapists for years to cope with this situation.
Wow, so this has been going on for a while.
Yeah. And that speaks volumes about the impact this has had on her.
It definitely does. And, her willingness to seek therapy is really important. It shows that she's taking steps to protect herself.
Right.
And recognizing that Linda's behavior isn't her fault.
It's a good sign that she's getting that support.
It is,
Well, yeah.
which is in stark contrast to Linda, who refuses therapy, even though she claims to have self-diagnosed depression.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
It is. It suggests that maybe she's more interested in controlling the narrative and avoiding responsibility than actually addressing any issues she might be having.
It makes you wonder what's really going on there.
Yeah.
But that brings us to the elephant in the room, the dad.
Oh, yeah. What's his role in all this?
He's constantly absent. So he's not really witnessing or addressing Linda's behavior firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
Is he unintentionally enabling a toxic environment by just not being there?
That's a great question, and it's something we definitely need to explore further. Sometimes the lack of presence can really contribute to a power imbalance within a family.
Right.
And the parent who is physically present might feel overwhelmed or unsupported, and that can lead to some unhealthy coping mechanisms.
So his absence is a big piece of the puzzle here, and we need to dig deeper into that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really important to think about the timing of all of this, like from the stepdaughter's perspective.
Right.
She was only 12 when she moved in with her dad and Linda.
Yeah.
That's such a crucial age. They're figuring themselves out, trying to find where they belong.
It's tough enough without all this added drama.
Exactly. And to have a parental figure constantly blaming you, making you feel responsible for their happiness.
Ugh. It's awful.
even hinting that you're causing their health problems.
That's so messed up.
It's a lot for anyone to handle, let alone a kid.
And it's not like it's just a one-time thing.
Right.
The stepdaughter talks about all these different instances, like when Linda suddenly stopped allowing her to stay at her best friend's house
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
because of those supposed concerns about harassment from male family members.
On the surface, it sounds like she's concerned.
Yeah. But knowing everything else,
It feels more like control.
total control.
Isolating her, cutting her off from her support system.
Exactly. And then there's the whole divorce thing.
Oh, right.
Linda drops this bombshell and then basically tells the stepdaughter that she might reconsider if the stepdaughter changes her behavior.
Oh, wow. So she's putting the responsibility for the marriage on a teenager.
It's like dangling a carrot on a stick, making her responsible for their relationship.
That's classic manipulation.
It is. It's putting so much pressure on her.
Way too much for a young person to handle.
And the commenters on the Reddit post totally picked up on that,
What were they saying?
calling it out as emotional blackmail, urging the stepdaughter to focus on herself.
Which is so important.
Absolutely. She
Yeah.
needs to prioritize her well-being.
It's not her fault.
Not at all. And sometimes hearing that from others can be really validating.
Absolutely. Especially when you're in that situation. It can be hard to see things clearly.
It's like you need that outside perspective to remind you that you're not crazy.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting. Some people even questioned whether Linda was really struggling with depression.
Oh, really?
They thought maybe she was exaggerating or even faking it as a way to manipulate everyone.
It's hard to say for sure. We can't diagnose anyone based on just a Reddit post.
Of course not.
But her refusal to go to therapy is definitely a red flag.
Especially when she claims to be struggling.
Right. It makes you wonder if it's more about control than actually getting help.
Is it really about her well-being? Or is it a tool to justify her actions?
That's a tough question, but it's definitely worth considering. And it brings us back to the dad.
Right.
What does he see happening here?
Yeah. Is he aware of Linda's behavior?
What's he doing to protect his daughter?
It sounds like he's tried to intervene in the past, but Linda just gets angry.
It's like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Totally. He doesn't want to upset Linda, but he also wants to support his daughter.
And that's a common situation for partners of people who are emotionally abusive.
They often feel like they're walking on eggshells.
Afraid to speak up because they don't know what will happen.
It's a tough spot to be in.
So where does that leave the stepdaughter?
Right. What can she do in this situation?
Well, first and foremost, she needs to keep seeing her therapist.
It sounds like she already is, which is great.
That's amazing. She needs that safe space to process everything that's going on.
To understand that it's not her fault.
Exactly. And to develop some coping mechanisms for dealing with Linda's behavior.
It's like putting on your own oxygen mask before helping others.
I love that analogy. It's so true.
She needs to take care of herself first.
Absolutely. And then she can start figuring out how to navigate this whole family mess.
And building a strong support system outside of the family is crucial too.
Oh, definitely. Friends, mentors, even online communities can make a huge difference.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who lift you up.
Especially when you're dealing with so much negativity at home.
And I think the most important thing is for her to remember that she's not responsible for Linda's happiness.
Or for the divorce.
Exactly. It's not her burden to carry.
Adults make their own choices.
And kids should never be made to feel responsible for those choices.
Especially when it's something as complex as a marriage.
It's a powerful message.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's hard to internalize when you're in the middle of all that.
It is. It's easy to get caught up in the blame and the guilt.
But she needs to remember that she deserves respect.
Healthy boundaries.
Kindness.
Regardless of what's happening between her dad and Linda.
This whole situation is just a reminder of how complicated families can be.
They really are.
And how important open communication is.
And healthy boundaries, too.
Absolutely.
This Reddit post has sparked some really important conversations.
About family dynamics, emotional abuse.
And how it affects everyone involved.
It's a reminder that these situations are more common than we think.
And that it's okay to ask for help.
If you're enjoying this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to Voices of the Soul.
And for even more deep dives into fascinating topics, check out the Shauna Pelage YouTube channel.
We're always exploring new ideas and perspectives, so come join the conversation.
Back to our Reddit drama, we've talked about Linda's behavior, the stepdaughter's resilience.
But there's one piece of the puzzle we haven't fully explored yet. The dad.
Right.
How does his absence play into all of this?
Is he just a bystander, or does he have a responsibility to step up and protect his daughter?
We'll tackle those questions in the final part of our deep dive. So we've spent a lot of time talking about Linda, her behavior, and how it's affected the stepdaughter. But now it's time to turn our attention to the dad. He's been kind of a ghost in this story.
Yeah, always off on business trips, seemingly unaware of what's happening at home.
Right. But is his absence really a valid excuse for not being there for his daughter?
Well, it's complicated, isn't it? I mean, we can't ignore the reality of demanding jobs. Some careers require a lot of travel or long hours.
It's true, and we don't know the specifics of his situation. Maybe he's the primary breadwinner and feels immense pressure to provide.
Absolutely. But even with those constraints, there's a difference between being physically present and emotionally present.
Meaning?
Even when you can't be there physically, you can still make an effort to stay connected. Regular phone calls, video chats, showing genuine interest in what your kid's going through.
So it's not just about being there for the big events. It's about those small everyday moments, too.
Exactly. It's about showing your child that you care, that you're there for them even when you're miles away.
And that's especially important during times of stress or conflict.
Absolutely. When a child is facing challenges, like in this situation, they need their parents' support more than ever.
To feel safe and secure.
Right. To know that someone's got their back no matter what.
In the Reddit post, the stepdaughter mentions that her dad has tried to intervene at times, but Linda always shuts him down.
It sounds like he's walking on eggshells.
Totally afraid to upset her.
Which is unfortunately common for partners of people who engage in emotional abuse.
They often feel trapped, like they can't speak up or challenge the behavior because they fear the consequences.
Right, and by trying to keep the peace, they can unintentionally make things worse.
So what can the dad do? How can he break this cycle and actually protect his daughter?
Well, he needs to prioritize her well-being, even if that means having some tough conversations, setting boundaries with Linda, maybe seeking professional help as a family.
So it's not about blaming anyone. It's about creating a healthy environment for everyone.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the problem and taking steps to address it.
And acknowledging that his daughter needs him to be there for her.
To be her advocate.
To protect her.
It might not be easy, but it's crucial.
This whole situation has really highlighted how complicated family relationships can be.
They really can be. There's always more than meets the eye.
And it's a good reminder that we need to be aware of the signs of emotional abuse and control.
And the importance of open communication.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a really thought-provoking deep dive.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground.
From emotional manipulation to family dynamics to the importance of healthy boundaries.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Voices of the Soul and share it with your friends.
And for more fascinating deep dives, you can find us on the Shauna Palaj YouTube channel.
Until next time, take care.